Yo, Steve. What's up, Firekeeper? How you guys doing? Welcome back. Sorry about that. Yo, what's up, Green? How you doing, man? Okay, okay, let's do this one VHS. This one, this one, this. And maybe this one, Frost. And then these Bleed, maybe? You ended up going down a rabbit hole about Art Monday night? You mean us, or you, like, after the stream? Oh, you did? Okay. So what happened? Oh, what's up, Alan? What's up, Pop-Tart? What's up, Monwart? Okay, let's try to put them both bleed again. Let's, give it bleed. I'm stupid. Here we go. Okay. I really wish we had enough, like, carry weight for these, but... Wow, it's so heavy. Holy shit. I never realized how heavy it is to rock two of these big boys. Hmm. Can't wait for the new armor so that we can fix our fashion. Just go 150? Yeah, all problem solves over level. Will you be abusing the roll catch exploit? Hopefully, yes. When Tarnished Edition comes out, I should make a max level. Why do you want me at max level? Do you think I'd enjoy myself more there? I think I think taking a while for Tarnished Edition because of their Switch 2 problems. Because ultimately, like, Tarnished Edition is a version that's been created for the launch of the Switch, or for the launch of the game on the Switch 2. And from what Firekeeper told me, okay, there you go. I was at PAX Australia. Demo for Tarnished Edition was very smooth and handheld from people who went there. So Tarnished Edition could come by Christmas. Seems like they're finally making progress. Okay, there you go, guys. There you have it. My informant. Activity is the only good thing about max level. That's how I feel like. I think max level every once in a while is fun, but I'm not particularly a fan of like build making, or the absence of build making, I should say. Actually, this has 8 poise. No way that Vare's mask has 8 poise, right? Five poise. Maybe we can do a little. Not this. There you go, guys. Mix it up a little bit, you know. I think they go better with these legs for this because we have the armor and everything. Who said there's no fashion in Elden Ring? Yeah, no one ever said that. Elden Ring's the most beautiful thing ever. Looks like one of those gentleman features in ganking vids. That's actually true. Why do you not play decks often? I actually played decks often before the DLC. I was maining dex build for probably over a year. It's just that after the DLC, I remade my build, and it takes forever to make builds in this game, and so I never bothered to remake one after that. I'm waiting for Tarnished Edition because with Tarnished Edition we get new classes, and I'm definitely like a little tired to play strength build. Like there are like streaming days where I wish I had like characters ready that are like magic builds or fate builds or dex builds. But I don't want to take the time to redo all of this because with Tarnished Edition we're gonna have to redo everything anyway. So to answer your question, we're gonna play more builds once Tarnished Edition drops because we're gonna have to make new characters. And so I'll take that opportunity to at least have like, I'd like to have like at least one character of each you know, archetype, you know, an arcane build, dex build, fate build, magic build, you know, the whole stuff. Oh shit, Steel Raid. What's up, guys? Welcome in, everyone. You guys are just in time. Been streaming for 10 minutes, no invasion yet. Jungle hybrid come back. I mean, why not? Like I said, although like I say that, you know, I say that in good faith that I'm gonna make a bunch of builds, but maybe when Tarnished Edition comes along, it's gonna take forever for me to remake like one build, and so I'll end up like only having one build again. That could be what happens. Yo, Invader Tim, thanks for the resub for 21, bro. Really appreciate that. Ooh, this is a good first invasion, guys. Really good. There you go. Just like that. Remember I played Lightning Gogs once or twice? Well, like I said, I played like Dex build for most of my time prior to the DLC, and my main weapon before the DLC was Raptor Talon when it came to invasions. So I was maining like Raptors, and even then, like my main 1v1 weapon were double Great Lance. And I remember I'd pick the Dex build because the Great Lance were better on Dex than, or actually they are better on Dex than they are on Strength. Because Power Stance Lances with Lightning Infusions were doing way more damage than Strength Infused. I know it seems kind of weird given how like Lance is technically a strength weapon, just like how Thrusting Swords seem like they would be like Dex weapons, but you know they're better on Strength. It's like a lot of stuff is like mismatch for builds, I feel. But yeah, like Great Lances were doing like a significant like Power Stance Great Lance on Dex does a lot more damage than Power Stance Great Lance on Strength. And it's because the lightning damage is just a better damage type. I don't think Tarnished Edition will get released until Elden Ring can run at least 25 to 30 FPS on the Switch. Yeah, Echo, actually. Right before Steel Raided, my friend Firekeeper here was talking about Elden Ring on Switch 2 being at PAX Australia, I believe, and I think Firekeeper had a friend there who actually played the handheld version, and apparently there has been massive improvement to the performance of Elden Ring on Switch 2 for the handheld mode. And so basically like the fiasco that you guys got to see at the last event might already be a thing of the past. So if that is the case and the game does indeed run better on handheld mode, that probably means that the actual release is getting closer, and you know, in the same vein the Tarnished Edition patch probably is as well. So these are basically like the update. That's interesting about Lance. It's just the 20 strike requirement for Dex. Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, technically, if you don't, you know, it depends. Like, because things have changed, right? Like, we're talking about before the DLC. So before the DLC, you know, Mesmer Great Spears didn't exist. So that's one thing. And also, our stance Great Spears were also a little better as well. Like, they got nerfed over time. And so now the dynamic has changed a little bit. Like, for instance, two-handed Great Lance is probably better than Power Stance Great Lance, which was not the case before. But now it's definitely the case. And what's optimal for a two-handed Lance is most definitely Flame Strike. So now, like, would you say that Lance is still better on Dex than on Strength? Well, because Flame Strike is the key option there, I'm not really so sure. Because you still get some good damage on Strength build when you two-hand weapons. So really, like, what made Power Stance Lances be much better on Dex was the fact that it was Power Stance. And Dex was leveraging that one-handed damage, basically. And we get Wacky Hand Axe Invasion. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, if we can get an invasion, period, because I still have not gotten the chance to even play with that weapon yet, that would be great. If we can get an invasion in the first place, that'd be amazing. But I'm probably not gonna play the whole stream with that weapon. We shouldn't support Nintendo in any way, shape, or form, given how much they try to milk their consumer with overpricing subpar product. I think it's very bad for players if we Souls fans support Duskblood or the Tarnished edition by buying it. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm not I'm not buying a Switch 2 or anything Nintendo, really. I really despise Nintendo myself, so... Still not sure which one I despise more, Microsoft or Nintendo. Probably Microsoft. Yo, Vale, thanks for the gifted sub, man. Not to say that Sony is any good, but... You know, which one is the lesser evil? But yeah, I mean, Nintendo... Not really consumer-friendly. Now, if you want the good guy in all of this, the good guy, as chat well said last time, the good guys are GOG. Oh, there he is. Hey! And then I'd say Steam is probably still the good guy as well. Whoa, that was weird. I don't know why I thought I could think that. Not that good, honestly. We're not doing a lot of damage. I feel like our variant with Frost was a little better. Maybe our stance is just better here. There. Guys, do I have the patience to attempt to roll catch a light roller, or do I switch to Pada and like kill him right away? I think I don't have the patience, guys. You know, as Pete would say, honest cosplay build. It's the meta people that take the fun out of the game, not these light rollers. You just shut down every build in the game, right? And if you want to compete, to be able to land a hit on them, you need to swap the other stuff. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to touch them. And then we get fucking labeled as meta toxic. I mean, light roll is pretty much as toxic as it gets, because it just forces people to use something else. That's pretty much what people that complain about meta usually complain about, that they can't compete with meta. Well, you saw it there, can't compete with light roll. Someone good with light roll would be even hard to hit with Pada. Yeah, but like the thing with light roll green, it benefits more bad players because like a good player like you and I, like we're not gonna panic roll, and so we're still gonna get caught by stuff that's like fast that we can't see coming. And then when it comes the time to roll, like sometimes we might mistime our roll and get saved by the light roll. But when it comes to bad players, they're gonna panic roll everything, and so the amount of time they're gonna get saved by the roll distance is much greater than someone good. So you have to keep that in mind. But with that being said, you know, if you wanted to make like the most busted thing, you know, you'd use the weight physic and strong armor, and then like you'd basically have like no downside to light roll, and then it would be a problem. Which makes it even an even dumber mechanic. I mean, yeah, of course. Right, it's for a good reason that Like before I stopped making these quote-unquote like feedback vids, like I really hammered on the light roll problem like many times. Like now I don't really do any more of that stuff because I just accepted the fate of the game, which is unfortunately like, you know, Elden Ring is just not it. And you like these games, well, your best bet is going to be to hope for the next thing. But you know, back when I still cared about how the game would turn out, I was really upset at how From Software was handling light roll and Bloodhound Step. Bloodhound Step not as bad anymore because even though it gives large distance and recovery, at least like it's actually pretty like reliable to catch someone with DHS. Still super strong, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not like as bad as like some of the other broken stuff. Like, you know, like if we make a list right now of like problems that are in the game, well, you'd probably start with stuff that's obvious and inconsistent, you know, like input drops and stuff like that. But when it comes to balance, like on top of your list, you'd probably put you know, like stuff like blind spot and dueling shield and projected heal for duels, that sort of stuff. Like those would be like the most obvious picks. Like Bloodhound Step would be fairly like low down the list. Light Roll would be higher than Bloodhound Step, that's for sure. Like same thing with stuff like Storm Stomp, right? Like Storm Stomp today is like super strong, like stupid strong, but it's not like broken strong like it's used to be. Like for instance, before like nerfing Storm Stomp the way it is right now, I'd probably be for nerfing like hyper armor on like great swords, great swords, and like all the hyper armor on all these great weapons that start like almost instantly. I think it would be like more logical to nerf that, or the startup for that, before like nerfing sorry. I just can't do two things at the same time. Actually, it's three things, because I need to translate my speech, because English is not my first language. I need to translate my own speech and keep focus on two opponents at the same time. Bro, I love how this goes like above his head. Okay, what kind of opening do we get here? Oh, speaking of light roll, guys. Running to his friend. Nice jump. Oh wow, that caught me. Like just this roll, for instance, right? Imagine if I had light roll. What? It didn't hit him? If I had light roll there, like it wouldn't change anything because I waited to roll. But like if say like this guy was hitting at the blue, for instance, that we just killed, the blue would roll right away and he would avoid the attack just like I did, but he would avoid it by panic rolling. I didn't mean to do that. It was meant to be a running. Yeah, there's no way to catch someone like that. Like, seriously, it's really unfortunate. You know what? Put that. Oh wow, okay, there's some lat on top of that. Fortunate. Honestly, like, I think I'm gonna swap the Pada anyway. Like, this is just, like, this guy is a complete waste of time. Just, like, latency and light roll, and just panic light rolling away, and it just shuts down nearly every setup, as you guys are seeing. That's what's unfortunate about it. Like, people think, like, you know, that tryhards like myself, that we only complain about things we don't like, right? It's not about that. It's about, like, understanding the game, understanding how the game works, and understanding that something like light roll, or something like dueling shield, or something like blind spot, it forces you to use, like, only a few selection of weapon that can deal with it. And, like, where skill does not make the difference to, like, counter it. So, like, for instance, if you were to fight against, let's say against Shamshir. Shamshir, a top weapon, a very strong weapon, but it's not broken to a point where if I'm fighting someone that I'm better than, using whatever setup I'm using, Shamshir is not going to be, like, the difference factor. Where light roll, on the other hand, like with the last guy, like, it doesn't matter, like, how good I am with the fucking Golem Halberd, I'm not gonna be able to touch him. It's the same thing with dueling shield, you know, like, if you're using a setup that is not, like, going to be able to do anything to the dueling shield, well, you've already lost, really. And things that people consider to be meta are usually not the worst offenders to that. Like I said earlier, like, the worst offenders are stuff like blind spot, you know, dueling shield, light roll, like hyper armor startup on stuff like hyper armor weapons, especially the R2 nowadays. These are the things that defy the logic, or the game logic. It goes, like, against the purpose of the game, and rewards bad plays. Off rock, yeah, Rakshasa is another example. It's true. Let's go back to the Vare mask. So far, though, I will say that I'm not a fan of bleed here. I think power stands bleed colossals, at least the golem, way better than just one. Like, it's not even comparable. Like, now I want to try with cold. Cold is usually better for two-handed. It's not like when you use Crusher, for instance, like Giant Crusher. Crusher just does so much damage that you can afford to use only one Bleed Crusher and still, like, do good with it. But the damage difference between, like, a Golem Halberd Bleed and a Bleed Crusher is massive. Check this out. 676 for a two-handed Golem Halberd Bleed, and then 780. So you're talking about, like, 100 more AR for the Crusher than the Golem Halberd. That's massive. That's like one extra weapon class higher. That's huge. Despite its massive flaws, what are the few things you generally enjoy in Invasions? I will say that it's hard to find stuff that's enjoyable in Invasions, given the perspective that I have and how like so many things invasion-wise were executed better in previous games. Like what Elden Ring does better than previous Souls game, there's really not much related to invasions. It's more like core mechanics. Like what Elden Ring does better than the others is like the crouching mechanic, like the addition of like being able to break neutral play instead of like having a completely passive meta. You know, like Elden Ring does a few things better like that, but nothing really has anything to do with invasions, because when I think about it, I think invasions are legitimately inferior in every way to Dark Souls 3 in Elden Ring. Like, because invasions, like, very much more projectile heavy, like, the maps, I should say, are less suited for invasions. Like, these big open fields are less suited. The player limit also worse. You actually get less PvE help in Elden Ring compared to other games because the maps are so empty, or the open world. And so, you know, aside from invading everywhere, which was something that we asked for in the start of Elden Ring, that we had in Dark Souls 3 in the form of a mod. Like, aside from that, there's really not much that has been an improvement. Holy shit. Like, I'm not gonna be this guy that says that, you know, Elden Ring is, like, worse in every way. But you have to understand what Elden Ring does better than other Souls game, and what it doesn't. And one thing that it does better is most definitely in the variety of, like, useful setups. You know, like, it gives you a lot of tools to deal with latency. Like, for instance, like, Poison in Dark Souls 3, Bleed in Dark Souls 3. Like, all these status effects were completely underpowered, and when you had to fight someone that had, like, high latency, it was, like, much more painful to fight in Dark Souls 3 than it is in Elden Ring. Like, someone on very high lat could be, like, legitimately immortal in Dark Souls 3. Like you could never damage them. Whereas in Elden Ring, stuff like BHS and Quickstep don't, like, reduce the iframes now that they've been patched. And being able to poison someone in 2 to 3 hits is a big factor. And then having Rot on top of that. Like, all these things to me are, like, improvements. Like, positives. And having, like, more variety of attacks is obviously the biggest improvement over the previous Souls game. Because I remember, I mean, I repeat myself often, but I remember, like, about 2 months-ish after Elden Ring came out, you know, we didn't have, like, any significant patch. And it was looking pretty grim for the future of Elden Ring already, because the balance was really, really bad at launch. And someone told me that Dark Souls 3 was very active. And it was about 2 months after Elden Ring, and so off-stream, once I hopped back on Dark Souls 3 to see what it was all about. I had, like, 2 invasions, that I won, but one thing that, like, struck me was, like, how one-dimensional playing with the Claymore was in Dark Souls 3 compared to playing with the Claymore in Elden Ring. And keep in mind, that was at a time where the Claymore was really bad in Elden Ring as well, but even then, it felt so much more rewarding because you had access to like many more attacks that you didn't have access to in Dark Souls 3. Didn't I see a red? Oh yeah, there is a red. I don't know what they're doing there. Not sure I like that. Wonder if he's working with them. Yeah, I think he's with them. We're gonna have to kill the red. You're trying to glitch. It's kind of lame. Okay, actually, it's probably better if I do that. Peeve said that from self-patch bull glitch. I mean, come on now. Like, you can't fucking blame Peeve for that. Like, that has nothing to do with him. It's just, two idiots. I might try to wait for someone to invade with me, since there was a red in there. Gotta love how Peach catches strays everywhere. I mean, to be fair, it's his fault. Like, he's the architect of, like, people being against him. Like, it's no one else's fault but his. To be real here, like, he's like, the reality is Peeve is a good guy, but people like Peeve, people like Chase, people like Oro, they all try to, you know, they all try to please people, right? And Peeve slipped up. He was a little too honest for a little bit. People like me don't have to worry about that because I'm always saying what I'm thinking. But Peeve slipped up with a moment of honesty. Shit, player goes down. Good play, teammate. Chase fans don't know how used to RKS cancel on PvEers. Well, that's not a bad thing. Like, people talk as if, like, Chase, like, losing in composure once or twice in Dark Souls 3 is somehow, like, a bad thing. Like, like, it's just perfectly normal. There's nothing special about that. Like, I feel like, you know, on the other hand, like, people that don't like Chase, like, use that as some sort of, like, ammunition against Chase where it's legitimately, like, nothing. But I get it, like, people find it annoying that, PvE, not PvEers, but, like, casuals put, like, Chase, like, people find it annoying, or tryhards that say that, find it annoying that Chase gets put on a pedestal by these guys, but I'm gonna be real with you guys, like, why would you even care, like, in the first place? Like, it doesn't affect you. Okay, let's go back to what we were doing. Someone said, why not try hand axe and dagger? Let's try that. Or, Wakazashi, I should say. Wait a second. Am I tripping? These guys were here a second ago. I think I didn't pay attention for 1 second and they slipped past me somehow. I think they went, like, down here. Yeah, they did. That's crazy. I didn't hit him. Gonna have to be careful. This might not be the time for might not be the time for hand axe dagger. Let's turn up the heat a little bit. Oh wow, he just got healed like all the way from that. Okay, thank you, Kate. Dude, this is crazy. These people are lucky beyond belief. How the hell did he get there? Let's finish him. That was so weird. You guys see that interaction? Like we got pushed. We got pushed by the host. It was very strange. I see what you mean still, like, I see that. It's just, like, you or someone else or anyone really being bothered by it doesn't do anything for any of us. You were a Chase Bobo stand back then. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We all start somewhere. Like, I started watching Soul's content with, my favorite streamer was Yukas. And then I used to love watching Peeve as well, and Oro, and, you know, nothing wrong with that. Whatever you find fun. Like, at the end of the day, all that we're doing is entertainment. There's not, you know, there's not a bad answer to that. I find it unfortunate that Yukas is not there anymore. Like, I remember, like, the first fight club I joined was a Yukas fight club, and I really enjoyed it. Yukas fight club in Dark Souls 2. And you know, later on in Dark Souls 3, I gave back. I hosted plenty of fight clubs. How the wheel turns. I will say though, nowadays, from all these content creators that I started watching, my favorite one for sure, like still today, that I actually still enjoy is Oro for sure. Did you ever watch Adam Barker back in the day? I mean, I stumbled upon his vid, but no, never was a fan, no. A little too scrubbish for me. I think by the time Adam Barker was a thing, I think I was already, like, you know, I think I was already a little too good to watch his stuff and enjoy it. And like even like well into Dark Souls 3, I didn't really enjoy like watching anyone's content. Like what I enjoyed watching were mostly like streams of my friends, and you know, like you'd basically find me in like Brenna streams or like Grim stream or like Leafar or Hollowweed, like basically just playing with my friends and the good players from the community, really. As far as YouTube was concerned, I was like one of the rare sources of like good content on YouTube for Dark Souls 3. Like when I say good content, I don't mean entertaining, but I mean like good gameplay. There was not really a lot to choose from. Z streams were peak. Bro. Z the cheater, dude. Fucking Z that would play like super well for like an hour, and then someone would be about to beat him, turns on CE, one-shots him, and then the streak continues. Never was a big fan of that, to be fair. Scott got you into Dark Souls 3. Good explanation for the basics. Scott got me into the competitive scene for Dark Souls 3. Because I didn't know like competitive scene existed for this game until I stumbled upon like Scott posting tourneys. And then I got interested, and the rest is history. But my background before like Souls was already in competitive games, so I was surprised to find like a competitive scene for Souls games. And my competitive Rainbow Six mind recognized that, and that's why I don't like when people say like, you know, Elden Ring will never, or not Elden Ring, but Souls games will never be like Evo or will never be competitive, because it's false. It's just false. If you've played, and people that say these things never actually played anything competitive, at least not at a high level, but if you've played competitive game at a high level and you played enough of these Souls games, you would recognize some of these fundamental core mechanics that are in place that most definitely give an opportunity for a game like this to be very fun and competitive and fair. Like, it has the building blocks to do it. Now, none of them has really ever managed to deliver on that full promise, and it never tried to deliver either. But the building blocks are there if anyone ever takes the reign for Souls games and wants to build something like this. I think it's either short-sighted or in bad faith or ignorant to say that games like these can never be competitive. It's just not true. Now, if you say it's unrealistic because From Software doesn't have what it takes or wouldn't realize what's there, you'd have a point if you say something like this. Like, you know, you say like Souls games will never be competitive because FromSoft doesn't know what they have, you know, in their hands, then history would prove you right, because that's exactly what has been happening for years and years. And if you're also saying that From Software has never made them competitive because that's not their goal, you'd probably be also right. I mean, no matter how you interpret this, history proves that Souls games have been around for a very long time, and there has not been like any significant improvement over the competitive aspect or the PvP aspect. It's basically it has been steps forward, steps backward throughout all the games. And more often than not, it feels like happy accident when we take steps forward. The whole esport thing started with Blizzard devs seeing Dune 2 being the first RTS, and they were like, that's cool and all. But we make Warcraft doing the same thing with multiplayer. I don't know how esports started, but Major League Gaming was there before esports. That's how I started getting involved with the competitive scene. What I know about the competitive scene is the history for game battles. GameBattles.com, which eventually became MajorLeagueGaming.com, was originally SOCOMBattles.com. And SOCOM Battles was, you know, as you know, the old SOCOM games. It was basically a site dedicated to SOCOM competitive gaming. Eventually it translated into Major League, and Major League gave birth indirectly, because they're not related, to esport, because esport doesn't exist if the foundation was not laid out prior to that by Major League. And so all of these things are basically just a series of domino effect that gave birth to like what is esport today. And obviously this has been like a long process, and probably gonna keep evolving and devolving and, you know, all that stuff. But it's interesting to look back at all of this for sure. Like, I remember when I won my first tournament on Game Battles or on Major League Gaming, I got a check by mail sent by Activision Blizzard, because they were the one who were basically like paying the bills for these tournaments. And it was a nice feeling, you know, getting a check by mail for winning a tournament. Like, it was an experience that I still remember to this day, even though it's, you know, you could look at this as something trivial. I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool. Have to keep in mind, guys, like, you know, you know me as a content creator, and you've likely been following me since either like Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring. But originally, like, my relationship with video games is I wanted to be a pro player. I loved games, and I wanted to play like games that I enjoyed at the highest level and make a living out of that. And with Rainbow Six, I actually reached that. Like, I reached a point where I was basically like among the very top best in the world players, winning like big money tournaments. But that's also when I realized that it's not sustainable. Like, unless you are basically unless you're basically in love with a game that has a huge following, like a Fortnite or whatever, then you can make like a living as part of like a pro team. But I quickly realized that the way to go was to make content out of the gameplay, and even like most pro players today like basically make their living off of doing that. And so for me, like at the start, my goal was just to become the best at the games that I loved. And over time, the content creation was sort of like a transition to make like this like a my goal like more feasible. But looking back at this now, there's definitely a lot of outcomes that I would have preferred over these. It's like when I sit here today, like playing Elden Ring, like, do I regret spending that much time on all this stuff? I'm a very like private person. I keep like my personal life and everything like to myself. I don't like to mix the two, but I will say that My whole like episode with the games and everything in Dark Souls 3 in the channel to this day, like to today, or let's say before Elden Ring, or even the start of Elden Ring, it has brought a lot of bad in my my gaming life, but it has brought a lot of good in my personal life. Like, I've learned like so many lessons, and I've also, you know, I don't want to get too into it, but let's just say that it helped me in many regard, whether it's like learning to manage money, learning to recognize flaws in myself, stuff like that. So I can't like sit here today and say that like I regret doing all of that, even though like if you ask me today, like would you rather be like an engineer like working on some project, like I'd say absolutely yes. Like I'd much rather like be working as an engineer somewhere, because that's kind of like another path that I was on, you know, before I started the whole gaming thing. Like I know like a lot of people think that gamers and people that play these games are stupid, but it's just not true. People that are good at games are usually pretty smart people. Alright, let's see here. Let's do this because I don't want to have to deal with the ice armor. Oh wow, Elden Ring moment. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate for him. Nice. I think he was out of stam. He had some cool moves. The Great Club is actually a good weapon. Like, people think this is like a bad weapon, but it's actually very strong against a lot of matchups. I'm not gonna hide the fact that I swapped this way because dealing with that ice armor is very difficult, painful, and not very compelling. Would you rather become a professional plumber and clean toilets, or play Elden Ring for another 5 years? It's a hard question. I think I have too much pride to clean toilets. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it. I have too much pride for that, you know. Big respect for those who do it. It's also a very high-paying job, and, you know, even though you might not like to clean the toilet, it's probably going to bring you a lot of good in your life, because it's not, you know, not the worst condition for jobs, from what I understand. Like, being a plumber is not like an easy job per se, but it's definitely not like some of the hardest job out there. Like, you have a very good pay and have your own company and like manage employees eventually. It's definitely not the worst, that's for sure. But like, if you say specifically cleaning toilet, you know, like, it's one thing to change a pipe or or to unclog a drain, but to fucking to repair a toilet, it has some degrading tone to it. Like, no matter how you put it, it's just how it is. Even though you respect the man that shows up to your place to do it, you wouldn't want to do it yourself. Cleaning shit versus eating shit. That's funny. What the fuck? Also, Firekeeper, thanks for the gifted sub to Vale, by the way. Or actually, that was earlier. I think I thanked Vale, but it was Firekeeper. Thanks, man. Sorry I misjudged the gifted. How would you deal with good passive R1 Shamshir gamer? Honestly, like, like dealing with passive players in this game is going to be very difficult because like the only way you can reliably deal with someone passive in this game is if you are in an artificial environment. And what I mean by that is one of the few spots in the game that have boundaries, aka the spot where we usually duel near Secluded Cell, the other spot where they host tournament at Stormvale, and a few other spots. Like, these are basically the only places where you can actually punish someone being passive with good positioning. Whereas everywhere else in the game, including the arena, there's infinite space, and so you can run away infinitely. And so no matter if they're using Shamshir, no matter if they're using BHB, Clean Rot, or any of these other like dominant weapon, it's going to be very difficult to approach any of these fast weapon with someone passive that has infinite leeway to run away. So to answer your question, unfortunately there's not a cookie cutter answer that like is going to solve your problems. Like, for instance, the first few invasions where we fought Green, Green was sniping me with Clean Rot. The good play for me was to swap the Clean Rot myself to mirror him. Green being very, very passive, our invasion lasted about an hour. And eventually I got the upper hand, but it's like there wasn't any like specific plays or specific strategy that was the key there. It was just like trying to play a solid game and staying focused as long as you can. There was like nothing else to it. And the problem was that Green was similarly skilled than me, so if you're fighting someone where the other person is not as skilled as you, then you can get away with being more aggressive. But if you're fighting someone that's very close to your level, like, there's no other way around it but to play methodical yourself. Is there any real counter to BHS Clean Rot? Yes, there are. Like, it's a little over... Like, BHS Clean Rot is a little bit overrated. And, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're a BHS Clean Rot and you are playing against Hendax, Halberd, Flame Strike, the Flame Strike actually counters it. If you're playing double Great Lance Flame Strike, I'd also give the edge to the the two-handed Great Lance Flame Strike would also have the edge over Clean Rot. There's actually more setups than that. Even honestly, even offhand Rakshasa, main hand, Claws of Night probably has the edge over Clean Rot. And like, if I take a look at my inventory, a hard counter to Clean Rot would actually be shield poking with a lot of different shield poke setups. Like parry shield with a Wakazashi is also a hard counter to Clean Rot, because the parry shield makes it so that you cannot like you cannot put sustained pressure on the shield, because one, they have guard counter hit priority after you land the first R1. And they can mix you up between either a Flame Strike or that guard counter from your first hit. And then, same way, they can parry you from neutral. So all these things make it so that Clean Rot does not have a very good matchup against Shield Dagger. Especially when parry is a thing. If parry is not a thing, it's a little different, because the Clean Rot can more freely attack the shield. But... you saw a tournament video of a guy with a shield plus Cinquetta. Is that a meme build or good? No, it's absolutely meta. Shield Dagger hard counters a lot of setups. Like hard counters, not just counters. Hard counters. It's bad in invasions, but it's very strong in duels. And you have to understand, a lot of stuff that is good against Clean Rot often is good against Clean Rot, because Clean Rot does not have an option to do anything after they land the first hit So like for instance, if you are a clean rot user with BHS even, and you attack someone that has if you attack someone that has a halberd hand axe, you know, the popular cookie cutter setup. I can find the hand axe. You know, if I get hit by the clean rot here, I have like two choices. Either I get hit by the clean rot and I attack right away out of its stun with the axe, and so you force a trade there with the clean rot, so the clean rot loses pressure, loses priority. Or what can happen if the clean rot is aware of that, what the clean rot will do is they will get one hit and then they will BHS away or they will roll away. But the problem is, because the stun on clean rot is so low, the one getting hit with the halberd and axe can either halberd out of stun or flame strike out of stun. And what happens is, if the clean rot attacks out of stun, they're gonna trade. Or if the clean rot attacks after landing the first hit, like if they do a second R1 or a staggered R1, they're gonna trade. And then if they decide to roll away and a flame strike comes out, they're gonna get roll caught for the full flame strike combo, and they will have lost the trade by a large margin. And so it's not really understood by the average players that clean rot is not this all and be all, because these interactions are not as known. But it is basically what happens in like this matchup, for instance. Whereas on the other hand, if you reverse the situation, you have like the hand axe that keeps priority with the halberd, and then also you have the mix-up for flame strike. And so the difference between this matchup is that the trusting sword, while they might have an advantage with neutral hits because it's going to be easier for the trusting sword to land the first attack on the halberd and axe, it has no way of doing any other damage that's safe after that. The only thing that you can do is basically like attack once and try to time rolling away between like the hand axe and the flame strike, but it's just very unsafe to do that. And so the amount of offense that you can generate is very hindered, whereas the halberd still has access to his mix-ups, still keeps priority, and it just gives the advantage to the halberd and axe because of that. And so it might not be as obvious, because when you look at other matchups, like for instance, if I play against this guy, right? Like if I play against this guy with halberd and axe, he has hyper armor, he's gonna tank my attacks. But if I use clean rot against this guy, it's going to be a dominant win for me. Whereas here with the halberd, it's going to be very difficult for me to land like even like one hit clean, because his hyper armor makes it difficult for me to approach him. Like see there? Like I lose priority after that. So because that happens, he has actually a matchup advantage. And so I have to play like basically cat and mouse, where the only thing I'm able to do is like punish with the hand axe, like punish his whiffs. And look at that, I lose trade from getting priority and outspacing him. And health-wise we're even though he has lost every neutral exchange. Do you see how like you see how like it skews fight just with these basic interactions? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the moment he loses his hyper armor like that, I'm free to attack as much as I want. And so the moment he doesn't have hyper armor, what happens to him, like what happened there happens. He just loses his ability to nullify my pressure, and he just dies instantly. And so that's the sort of dynamic that you get with these setups that people don't seem to be like as understanding of. They're like, they look at this great club and they're like, you know, it's a shit weapon. But when it comes to like me using the halberd and axe, even though I'm a lot better than my opponent, even though my setup is technically more meta than his setups, I have a very hard time doing anything against it because he nullifies any pressure that I can generate. And it's the same dynamic with clean rot. Like with clean rot versus halberd and axe, it just nullifies a lot of the pressure. But yeah, like Amish said, like it's just this is the big problem with Elden Ring. It has a lot of quirks like that that nullify skills. It hampers on skill expression and skill gameplay. It basically gives a turn-based aspect to something that should prioritize the one that's aggressive and that wants to get the hit. What it does is it makes it so that it's my turn, then it's your turn, it's my turn, then it's your turn. And so it makes fights like these artificially be like like about trading blows. So this was an example of it. And that's probably also one of the reasons why I like playing with Colossals, because at least with Colossals, you don't have to worry too much about, like, any of these losing priority stuff. You have to work a little harder to get your hits, but losing priority is not one of your concern. Actually, I want to try something weird. Thought about it. I'm gonna try this. If I can. Get rid of Vare Mask too. Not easy. Actually, one second. Let me read that. It's... did I lose it? It's not easy because I have no idea how to make slower weapon viable without hyper armor. I don't think so. Like I disagree with that. Like, slower weapons, like, look at... You need to look at, like, multi-hit attacks. Like, for instance, if you have a very slow weapon that has a multi-hit attack that could create a frame trap under certain circumstance, then you'd still have a useful weapon. Hyper armor also is not necessarily the problem. It's how fast it starts and how you lose priority after you land a hit. Like, for instance, it doesn't matter if the Great Club we fought earlier has hyper armor. As long as when I land the first hit, I can continue my chain of attacks. I can keep pressuring him, and he can't just attack me out of him getting attacked first. That's ultimately the issue. If he needed to reset to neutral in order to leverage his hyper armor, then it would be a lot more fair and rewarding matchup-wise. Yeah, like Vale said, yeah, it's not necessarily an issue of the hyper armor itself, it's more the startup that's a problem. And the startup for hyper armor in Elden Ring on this patch is very, very, very fast. So fast, in fact, that Greatsword two-handed R2s can pretty much attack out of nearly everything. I think we want sleep bots here. I hate this. That's actually not what I wanted. Okay, so I can't actually swap to anything. I wanted to finish him with the dagger, but I lose my swap if I do that. Back in This Is Dark Souls 3, I wish if part of the UGS where you hold that headbox, the stay point blank, it would be unreactable, require spacing, and if they panic roll, they could get hit by the actual hit. You know, guys, there's many different ways to make weapons viable. One of them is, like, for instance, imagine for a second, like, I'm going to give you another example. Imagine for a second that this attack was even slower, that the swing itself was very, very slow. But imagine also that the hitbox for the attack would stay active throughout the entire swipe. If the hitbox stays active throughout the whole swipe, even if it's slow, you could change the timing by aiming the attack one way and hitting earlier, and then aiming the attack the other way to hit later. And so you can mix up a timing that way. And you'd have to make it so the forward momentum would be able to catch a roll, but that would be one way of making a slow attack viable. Another way to do it is to introduce a fast attack to these weapons, but not a fast attack like what we have with the crouch. Because what happened with these crouch attacks with Colossals is that it becomes the only viable attack because it does the same amount of damage, if not more, than the other attacks in the kit. And so it just becomes your best attack in every situation. Whereas if you introduced a fast attack, like just imagine for a second, just imagine that doing this did damage to your opponent at point blank, like just that. But imagine it only did 100 damage. What would happen is you'd have gameplay where you'd try to be catching your opponent with this, and then you'd use that as a mix-up to catch them with the slower attack. And you'd basically be using your fast, quick attack that does low damage to set up a slower attack that does more damage. So there's different ways to go about it. It doesn't have to be like only, you know, like only eye armor or only like, I don't know, like only like give it slow, high damaging attacks like what we have here. Another way to go about it, like we said, give attacks like multi-hits. Like for instance, this weapon right here, hyper armor or not, can be viable purely because of Flame Strike. Why is Flame Strike so good? I mean, it's not a multi-hit per se, but the flame of the Flame Strike itself has so many active frames that it catches like a lot of timings. And so when you have attacks, even if slow, that have multi-hits like that, or that lingers, it gives an opportunity for a roll catch, even if the weapon has only like reactable attacks. That's why like Flame Strike basically makes like all these great weapons viable in one way, shape, or form. I'm gonna try something. Oh, I'm too heavy if I do that. Do this instead. Actually, hand axe. Or put BHS on that hand axe so that I have a... So I can't swap my main weapon. Guess I'm gonna have like a quicker escape. Yo, Cleve, thanks for the resub for 35, bro. Thanks a lot, man. Oh. Got a teammate in trouble. I don't know if we're gonna make it in time, though. No, we're not. Well. There's actually nothing I could have done to save him, unfortunately. Brain, did these guys block you too? I don't think so. I don't think these guys would block you. Oh, we got the same guy. Gotta find him. I mean, he's gonna find us. There he is. Wow, this teammate lasted a good few seconds. I don't know if PvE can hit me. Bro, he just keeps invading. Thanks for the help, teammate. There you go. Our teammate is dead in the... Bro, this guy is speedrunning dying. Oh, man. PvE is a little too weak, unfortunately, in this area. not sure if I should push or not. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Oh, questionable. Questionable. did I put mine? There you go. My fat rolling. Alright. Alright. I have to play more passive now because I'm out of healings. Probably has some too. If I don't attack, he doesn't seem to be attacking much though. I got punished for attacking first. I think I need to play patient, like regardless of how he plays. I don't know if it's the lat, man, but like I am so far away from these. Like he's not playing like particularly well, he's just being very passive, and every time he does a running, I think it's gonna miss me. And double rolls everything afterward. Oh. I'm just drained though right now. Yeah, there is some lat with this guy. It's probably European. Not like huge lat, but probably like about EU. Like there. Not sure about that. Careful, green. Careful, green, you're by yourself. Surprised didn't get hit by that. There you go. Well played, Green. I think unfortunately, like, the way the fight ended up was mostly just running out of stuff, so I couldn't be like as aggressive as I would want to be, and because the guy was very passive, I couldn't push the pace either. Every time I got aggressive, and I just got punished for it. Yo, Amish, thanks for the bits, man. Holy shit, thank you so much, Amish. A win is a win? Yeah, a win is a win. We still came out on top. Like, I was doing better with the axe and the bear claw. It's just that because I was doing good with it, my opponent was being very, very passive. So I thought that having the Shamshir running attack would help me, but it didn't. Like, he just played the same. So I tried to emulate what he was doing toward the end. I think it was starting to work toward the end, but it's, you know, it's these no boundaries fights again, like we talked earlier. You just can't go against what the game gives you. You know, the game is pretty much that. No boundaries fights. I think it was someone earlier who actually asked that very question when he said, like, how do you fight a Shamshir that's like super passive? And I actually gave like, you know, I gave him an answer that there isn't like any particular thing that you can do because it's the fault of the game's boundaries. And it's so funny how you know, the invasion that we just had was the exact scenario that's described. Like, it all fits together. Just goes to show that we do understand the game, right? Like, everything played out exactly as the question was asked. And was answered, too. They blocked you after they ganked you? Well, that's unfortunate. Although they don't strike me as the kind of people who block, though. Maybe you just didn't get lucky after that. Reinvade them. You just gotta make sure you're streaming so when you invade, they don't block you. Dude. I swear to God, man. Insane. Well, Green, are you ready for round 2? Because I don't think we're winning this without you, honestly. Yo, Alluvial, thanks for the gifted, man. Ellie blocked you? Alright, well, we don't need to play with them. I mean, they blocked the only fucking teammate that I have that can compete with them. Like, that's just fucking... That's just some dick wipe shit. Like, I'm tired of having to deal with that. Like, you know, you get these, like, wannabe chill gankers that let me have a teammate, but they block everyone good, so I'm stuck with fucking Pizza Bozo here who dies in, like, 3 hits and dies in, like, 5 seconds. And it's like, do you actually want, like, a 2v2 or no? Like, what do you want? Like, why are you blocking, like, the only person that's similar skilled as you that can be my teammate? Like, let's not kid ourselves here. Like, there's, like, only a handful of good players left in this game. If you're doing, like, two men against 2 men, and you have your buddy who, obviously, like, both of them are skilled, and you block the only fucking skilled player that I can get as a teammate, like, what do you expect? Like, I don't want to play with you. The fuck is your problem? Like, the only reason we keep getting them is because, you know, the game is dead, so it is what it is. That was almost, He says green isn't blocked. I mean, it's alright. Like, you know, they're watching the stream, you know, they hear me rant. They still want to kill me, so okay, we'll unblock green then, you know. Whatever. Pizza Boy was trying. Of course he was. It's just that, you know, the reality is the players he was fighting were better than him. And it's going to be the case for the large majority of people that will invade because, like I said, Elden Ring is fairly dead. There's only a handful of players that, you know, actually know how to play the game, and those two happen to be, like, one of the few that do. And so, like, they're never gonna get any competition unless it's actually like some of the last fucking good invaders that remain that are still playing. Yo, Alluvial, thanks for the gifted sub. I really appreciate that. PSN in general has a really disappointing reliability for a paid service. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, from all the fucking Sony hacks and the maintenance, and not the maintenance, but the... Like, you know how, like, very often their servers, like, shut down, like, for some whatever issue, and they don't come back online for fucking, like, a day or two? Like, usually you get that for, like, free services where they make their money elsewhere, but... Like you said, with Sony, you get that pretty often. I don't know where to go here. I ate my input. I staggered another R2. I just didn't. I just crouch and it hit the frame that that eats the input when you crouch. Like I did R2, crouch, R2, and it just ate the input. Kamiyaki, thanks for the resub for 13 months, man. Would you ever consider permanently switching to 150 if activity is bad enough? Yeah, I would consider it if activity is bad enough. The activity is bad enough. No, the thing on gun is I don't think 150 is more, like, much more active. That's the thing. It is actually more active? You guys think 150 is a lot more active than this? I mean, it's not hard to beat. Maybe you guys are right. Come to max level? Yeah, I'm gonna play at max level. Activity won't be an issue anymore. You get high level PvEers at least. I'm not against going 150 for activity. Like, if you guys tell me that it's more active and you're sure of it, why not? God damn it, we don't have pots. Wait, is that Rakshasa? Hard counter my ice armor with a superior ice armor and out damaging me? Because if that's the case, like, I'm not a big fan of Rock. Like, I don't actually mind ESing a Rakshasa. You know, like, the thing with him, like, you might say, like, oh, wow, you're so dishonest to swap the TS. Well, you know, I had the Great Lance. He swapped to something to hard counter me, so I'm like, you know, why should I bother, like, to like, play with something where I have a matchup disadvantage and the fight is tedious, whereas I could just swap to something that counters him just like he did to me, right? Also, let's... I think that's probably, like, what frustrates me a lot, like, in general, when I fight people. And it's not, you know, like, I'm saying that, like, this is my fault, right? Like, a criticism that I have on myself is very often, you know, I'll do my content, which is no one else's business. Like, they don't need to, like, follow any rules when they play me or whatever, right? Like, I'm just playing a game and I'm, like, doing content with whatever weapon. And then I'll get someone that, like, hard counters my setup, and I'll get upset because of it. Whereas all I have to do, really, is just escalate and switch to something that will hard counter them. But I don't like doing that because I think it's a dick move. But if they do it to me, it's my fault if I don't do it to them. And so in the end, like, if I get beaten after that and I don't, like, counter what their counter was, Like, I'm the one who gets frustrated by it. You know what I mean? So, like, I think what I should be doing differently is what I did in the last fight. Like, you know, if I have Great Lance and he hard counters me with Rack, well, just hard counter him back, you know, and then you won't get frustrated because of some interaction that you had no control over. I really miss my fucking pots. Oh, really? Like there, like good thing I swapped the Pada quickly. Like in the blink of an eye, it turned into a nasty 3v1. Guy has no idea what he's doing though. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, this is just sad. I thought he was being greedy because he was with his friend, but he just legitimately didn't know, like, how to play the game, unfortunately. Like, this could have been, like, a very challenging and good invasion, but the host just, didn't know even the basics. Who do you have for this weekend's main fight? Who's fighting, Steve? Yeah, on Gon, that's very possible. Gain and Aspinall? I mean, come on, like... I'd be very surprised if Gain wins. Or Serial Gon. I'd be surprised, dude. I think it's, it just goes to show that the heavyweight division is really sad, because how many fucking title shot is Serial Gon going to lose and still get another title shot? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Gon, like, had to fight, like, all the champions, like, fucking 4 times. Like, he has, like, 4 fucking title fight, and he loses all of them. Like, isn't there, like, someone else in the heavyweight division who deserves a shot? Like, am I crazy? Like, guys, like, for those of you who watch UFC, like, who else would, is there someone in the heavyweight division, or is the heavyweight division, like, that thin that they can't find anyone else but Gon? Smoko? I don't know him. But, I mean, it can't be worse than Gon. Like, Gon has lost every title fight. Like, are they gonna throw title fights at him until he wins one? Did he give Derek Lewis another one? Man, I used to really like Derek Lewis until that fight. Derek Lewis had that one fight. I forgot if it was against Francis or against someone else, but like, it was just like doing nothing the whole fight, like just scared to pull the trigger. You can't have that. Like, you can't give a shot to someone like that. It's just, you can't. I mean, I understand that it's fucking scary to go against any of these fucking heavyweights, and they're well aware that even if they're big guys, they can get slept. Or even killed, for that matter, in, like, one well-placed shot. So I understand the fear, but unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. You can't be, fighting like that and getting title shots. I like Tiu Vasa. I think he's the AU guy. The one who drinks off the boot. I think he fights pretty well for a heavyweight. Not saying that, you know, he deserves a title shot, but, you know, at this point, like, if I had to watch Gon versus Aspinall or Tiu Vasa versus Aspinall, I mean, if you're gonna put Gon there, I think you might as well start fucking giving a shot to everyone in the fucking heavyweight division. Yeah, Tiu Vasa, yeah. Pretty fun to watch. Yeah, I like the way he fights, you know, he seems to be fighting with heart. He's actually pretty good, too. Hasn't lost that many fights recently. I think he lost one. Malhadino is a heavyweight upcoming Brazilian fighter. I think we should keep an eye on him. Dude, these Brazilian fighters are so fucking good, man. There's so many, like, when you watch, like, the prelim cards, like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the Brazilian fighters on the prelim cards, like, often come out on top. They're just so good. They're so crafty. I don't know what it is about them, but like, Brazil really makes for some... Oh. Tarnished Edition! Tarnished Edition! It's coming! Right here, right now. Everyone open Twitter. It's here. Tarnished Edition's about to drop. No, but seriously, I think it's just the fucking game shitting itself. Either that or Sony. Or maybe, actually, that can't be it. I was about to say maybe it's because, like, it's raining outside for me and, like, connection shit itself because of that, but you probably would have seen a skip for the stream. That was the case. Maybe there was. If that's what happened, then you got your answer. That's probably what happened. Tarnished Edition tomorrow, confirmed, bro. It's real. It's the Garnished Edition. Turns out it's another RC exploit takedown, yeah. Man, I still fucking forget to have some pots. They're so useful too. Do it. I definitely win that. I mean, it's a smart move by this guy down there to try to help his teammate as much as he can. Well, not sure if it was on purpose or by accident. With Lance feels right. Yeah, it's probably my favorite weapon still. You can have like 600 pre-crafted pots in your grace chest. Wait, what? Wait a second here. Wait a second. Wait a second here. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. Throughout all this fucking time, I've been crafting pots, forgetting about crafting pots, not crafting pots, missing them. Holy fucking shit, dude. After all this time, I didn't know you could do that. That's crazy. Dude, is there something else that you guys are keeping secret from me? What the fuck, dude? Holy shit. 3 years veteran, by the way. Yeah, dude. 20,000 hours in Elden Ring PvP, by the way. Oh, man. What the fuck? That's crazy. It's insane I didn't know that. I mean, I know you can refill stuff. But I didn't know you could fucking place your pots in the inventory because... right, logically, like, when you play the game, like, you collect the cracked pots. And you only have, like, 20 of them for, like, this one type. You only have 10 of them for this other type. So, like, if you put the cracked pots... and, you know, when you use them, they still crack, so you get, like, you know... you get the cracks. You get the cracked pot and you make a new one with it. But it just doesn't make sense that after using the cracked pot, you make a new one, and then you put that new one in your storage, and then you can make another one still with nothing. That's what got me confused, because you only have like 10 of these big pots, but if you put them in the box, all 10 of them, you get 10 more. I didn't know that. Anyway, that's crazy. That is crazy. I didn't even know that. Only refill one type, though? I think refilling the big one is probably best for me. You have to gatekeep stuff from the lore master? Yeah, for real, though. Alright, well, guys. I'm gonna call it here today. Short stream, short and sweet. I like to keep it as short as possible when the stream doesn't go too sour for me. Because I know myself, guys. The longer I play this game, the more aggravated by the game I get. So the shorter I keep my stream, the more positive and the best experience that I can have. And in return, I assuming you guys also prefer streams where I'm not like overly negative either. So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. And I thank you guys again for coming by today. And I'll catch you guys up next time. Take care, guys. Let's see who we can raid. You prefer 8-hour raids? For real, though. I'd probably still do 8-hour streams if I loved the game, you know? But it's just not the case. Okay, do we have... we have Swoosh again. Every time I stream, Swoosh is there, so we're gonna keep raiding him. Let's raid homie Swoosh. Oops, not this. Raid Fuji? Is Fuji there? I don't see him. Because we've raided Swoosh. Like, I love Swoosh, but we raided him pretty much every time the last few days. So if there's someone else... oh yeah, Fuji is on. It doesn't show it in my recent, but if I click on his name, he's on. Let's raid Fuji. Guys. Before we raid Fuji... holy shit, Genius! Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Okay, guys, please, before we raid Fuji, last time we raided him, I asked chat to gaslight Fuji into thinking I was playing on PC. I want you guys to do it again. Like, I want you guys to do everything you can to try and make believe that this stream that we just ended was on PC. And try to gaslight Fuji into thinking that this was actually like my first PC stream. If you guys could do that for me, I'd be very graceful. Then two, no. I just played vanilla PC. All right, so just so that everyone understands, I did not play on Den. I played my first actual vanilla PC stream for real, for the first time. And I got destroyed. Like, all the PC players, like, they all destroyed me. Just to make it more realistic, you know? Alright, so this is it right there. Okay, so you guys can get gaslight Fuji all you want. Alright, take care, guys. I'll catch you guys up later. On Fuji, survive for me.